All right, we're in it. Um, Christmas break is finally over. Our first show in what, like 2 weeks,
Um,
3 weeks? It's been
it's
a
almost
minute.
a month. It's almost a
Yeah,
month right now.
it's been a minute between uh, Christmas and like not a lot of games anyway. Like,
hmm
really missed the Diamond Head Classic this year during Christmas week, man.
I know
It
Christmas
was
week there was like nothing. Even the weekend after Christmas, like it was like dead from the Saturday on that we went to the Indy Classic. We'll talk about that in a minute. But just like it was like dead the whole week of Christmas.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Let me retweet this stuff real quick and make sure everybody sees that we're live. It's a late night though. I assume you were watching Steelers Ravens too. That
Yeah, I
was a
was. I watched the end of that game.
that was indeed a wild one.
I
Um,
know that throw by Lamar on fourth down was insane, and then like insane plays all around.
yeah, it was quite the crazy game. But yeah, let me do one more retweet, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Talk a little bit about our trip to Indy, even though it's kind of
hmm
I guess we don't have to get too much into the game unless you want to, because it's kind of dated at this point, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean it still is, but both our teams have only played like maybe two games and like since
Yeah,
then. So yeah, I mean it's
yeah,
still relevant.
yeah. We've only played two since then. Um, so yeah, so Indianapolis, man, you got your revenge this year.
But yeah, it was,
Um,
that was a beatdown of Auburn. Just like pure offense. Like Matt Painter had his offense rolling from the jump.
yeah. What was it was 88-60, I think was the
Yeah,
final.
I looked it up a few days ago. Talking with my dad about how much Michigan beat Auburn by. Like I was just comparing, and
Yeah,
we about beat you by the same as Michigan, like 2 points
yeah,
less.
yeah. They beat us by 30. So
hmm
yeah, y'all beat us by 28. So if that's the barometer,
hmm
and then Arizona beat us by a little more too. So I don't know. Maybe
hmm
we're just the barometer for all the good teams to see how good they are. But yeah, it's like, um, yeah, a real like we'll talk about the Auburn Georgia game too, which I was at yesterday,
hmm
but um, which that was also insane. But yeah, we really just lack depth this year, and that's like what it comes down to. And man, Pettiford went off yesterday
hmm
against Georgia, but versus Purdue, like he did not
He
have a
had a
good
bad
game at
game.
all. Like,
C.J. Cox and Braden Smith were shutting him down for the most part.
yeah, yeah, and y'all's bigs dominated.
hmm
Like we talked about that, like when you picked me up from the airport and we were on the way to the game. Like how we lack depth in the front court and size, and how that was going to be a struggle for us, and it certainly reared its head. Yeah, not a lot of positive takeaways from that game for us, and yeah, it's just kind of where we're at this year. Like I think we're a good team, but we're definitely not competing with the
hmm
Purdue's and Michigans and Arizonas of the world. Like if we wondered if this is a team that can make that kind of run, well, we played about every damn team in the top 10 in non-conference and didn't beat any of them. So
I know
uh,
Kevin Overton played great for y'all though. Him and I don't know if Keyshawn Hall. I forget if he had a big game against Purdue, but I think he hit a few shots.
yeah. Um, yeah, just wasn't our day.
hmm
But no, we had a good time there. Um, we saw that Butler
Butler
Northwestern rock fight before that.
hmm came down to the
Yeah,
final minute in that one
yeah,
too, and we got to see Butler Blue dressed up as Santa
yeah, yeah. We got to
on the
see
court.
Blue. We got to see Blue cruising around the court. So yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, like I said at the time, 2 weeks late. Congrats to you guys on the dub. It was a fun trip, and yeah, we had a good time. And who knows when we'll ever see Auburn and Purdue play each other again. So we had to enjoy it now while we can, and we certainly did.
I knew. I one. This is a side note. I just want to mention we almost got into a St. Elmo's shrimp eating contest on the.
Oh my
That would have been horrible with that how what we
dude,
just ate and drank.
that was yeah. We had just gotten done
Like
eating lunch, and then we walk in, and they come up to us, and we're like, "Do you want to do a shrimp eating contest?" And we're like, "Absolutely!" And they had like the hot sauce on
yeah,
it too, dude. That would have been
that
that would have been amazing.
the one guy was struggling. That was in. He was like trying not to throw up.
That girl that was in it was like
Yeah,
knocking like all the sauce off of it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, indie classic, man. St. Elmo's shrimp eating contest.
That's it's a good event. Like all
Yeah, no, it
three
was a
times
fun
I've been
time.
there,
Like,
it's been fun. Like
um,
some of those events, they don't have hardly anybody there, but any classic has always had decent crowds.
nah, it was a great crowd, dude. It was a great turnout. Um, like y'all packed the place out, and uh, I had to give you shit at the start of the game, man. Y'all packed the place out, but y'all were kind of quiet at the start of the game, man.
I
I was
mean,
like, what's going on here?
NBA arena
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
Mackey.
yeah, that'll do it. But yeah, good times there. So congrats to you guys on that
Hmm.
dub, and yeah, we can get to more of the current stories. I got a whole rundown here of what to talk about, but I guess like the first jumping off point I had for us to discuss is there's 6 unbeaten teams remaining in the country. They are Michigan, Arizona, Iowa State, Duke, Nebraska, and Vanderbilt are the 6 remaining unbeaten teams in the country. Duke, well,
There's another one you forgot to mention.
oh, who am I missing?
Miami of Ohio.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah, good
that
call.
because I was
I,
going to mention their game against Akron yesterday went down
yeah,
to the wire.
yeah, and they were dogs yesterday
Hmm.
too on the road, and went out and got the win. Yep, I forgot about my so 7 unbeatens.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, as far as I guess power conference unbeaten,
Hmm.
so we got those 6 remaining. Which to this point in the season, to have that many unbeaten teams remaining, it's a decent amount. So yeah, obviously Michigan and Arizona continue to just dominate, and yeah, Michigan got it was crazy going into that game that Michigan's a 22-point favorite against a top 25 team on Friday. And in fact, what was that final there? I don't did they end up covering that? Or
It was like 90 something to like 68, I think, or something. I forget. Let me find it real quick.
yeah, I'm looking right now. It was um not yeah, 96-66. So they indeed covered a 22-point spread against a top 25 team on Friday. Um, and then same with Arizona had a roadie at Utah yesterday, and they went and took care of business and dominated. So
Because I
um,
do, I don't know why USC's in the top 25. I know they have won a lot of games, but they did not
weak
look good at
schedule,
all. Yeah, they did not look good at all. Plus, they have two starters out as well.
but they won Maui.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean
you love
the
Maui,
weakest.
respect Maui, right?
Yeah, I mean I respect Maui, but it's the weakest Maui field in quite some time.
Oh yeah, certainly. So yeah, as far as those, Iowa State looks great. Duke had a couple close games last week against Georgia Tech earlier in the week, and then against Florida State on yesterday. Duke had a couple close ones, and we'll get into more specifics of the games as we progress through them. But Duke remains undefeated. Um, Vanderbilt took down South Carolina yesterday to remain undefeated. And then obviously, in fact, like that can be one of the first games we talk about was, and we did a few weeks ago when we had that one Friday, we didn't have much to talk about. And we talked a lot about Nebraska and what they look like this year. Well, any questions if the Huskers were for real, that when we talked about that a couple weeks ago, I'd say they answered it on Friday, and they got a tough win, 58-56 over Michigan State. That was definitely the game of the day on Friday. And but yeah, Fred Hoiberg's got things going there in Lincoln, and they got a big win. So, were you able to tune into that
Yeah,
one? Did you
I
have?
watched a lot of that Nebraska Michigan State game. What a great game! Nebraska almost threw that one away. They hit a three and then immediately got a T, and then uh, for Taunton, he taunted, and then Michigan State kind of went on a run. What's his the one player on Michigan, Jeremy Fears, hit like 6 3 throws in a row. The rest kind of mogged slowed the game down, slowed that pace down to
Yeah,
grinding halt.
he was 10 for
And
10 from the line. So,
yeah,
he didn't miss, and that kept him in that one. But
yeah, and it
yeah,
went down to the very end. But Nebraska showed up, stormed the court.
that's the like to play a grinder against a Tom Izzo coach team where like they're going to drag you down in the mud, and for Nebraska to be able to play Michigan State and like it was at home for Nebraska at Pinnacle Bank, but like the game environment definitely favors Michigan State. Like anytime you just get into like a low scoring like blender like physical game like that was, and for Nebraska to come out on top was awesome for them, and like what a year for the Huskers. They keep it going, and yeah, you got to tip your hat to Fred Hoiberg and what he's like. I think they're definitely at this point going to go to going to go to the NCAA tournament, and they look like they've never gotten anything above a 6 seed like we discussed, and they look like a sure bet to get that at this point. I don't see this team fall like the way they've looked, and the way they looked in that game. Like, don't see them falling off or anything. And this really should be the year that like they're going to have a really good opportunity to get the first NCAA tournament win in program history. So, yeah, and I wasn't able to tune into that game on Friday, but I imagine the environment at Pinnacle Bank had to be crazy because like Nebraska fans like they'll like we said they'll show up for anything, any sport, whatever it is. Like they love them, and they've never had a basketball team this good to root for. So I imagine that place is going to be off the chain throughout conference play this year. I don't know if Purdue has to go there and play
Yeah,
for
we do.
yours. Oh man, that's going to be a tough one.
But I
Um,
think we're going to get them back for the game 2 years ago. I think Braden Smith's going to be ready for that one.
um, but yeah,
It's funny you
Rick,
mentioned that. Talking about Purdue, we play like just talking about the Big Ten. There's a stretch as of right now. There the six top 20, or we play like six top 25 Big Ten programs in a row. Like at the end of January, start of uh, February.
yeah, yeah, that sounds a lot like our non-conference schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah, we played pretty much everybody. But yeah, man, Rick Mass was awesome in this one. He had 19. Mass and Samford have both been great and like shown up in all the big moments they needed to this year. Mass had 19 in this one. Price Samford had 13. So yeah, like we said, I don't really know what else to add, but great win for the Huskers, and uh, one of the stories of the year in college basketball with them this year. So tip your hat to Fred Hoiberg and their program there. I don't know if you have anything else to like I said, I wasn't able to tune into that one, so I don't have a ton to add specifically into the game, but if you have anything to add to it, you can go ahead.
I'm not really. I mean, just a great performance by Nebraska to battle that whole game in a very physical game. I think there was a lot of fouls called both ways, but um, Nebraska just was on fire from three, as usual for their team this year. So I think they've proven that they are a strong contender in the Big Ten this year and are for real.
Yeah, no.
That's a statement win for them.
Yep. They remain undefeated, and like we said, one of the six remaining power conference undefeated in the nation. So um yeah, other than that, where can we go next? Did you happen to watch on New Year's Eve Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I watched those overtimes. Like it went. I think I watched some of it, and then when you said something, I was like, "Oh crap, the game's
Dude,
close."
it was insane. It was insane. I'm trying to get the box score pulled up here so we can go back. It's been about a week now. It's been a busy week, so I don't have the entire box score ready to rattle off the top of my head, but it's a wild one. Virginia Tech gets the win in triple overtime. Yeah, let me get this pulled up here.
I
Uh,
know. First off, what a crazy start to conference schedule! Like playing your rivalry game first thing,
yeah,
first couple days of conference play in the ACC.
yeah, that's a way to start conference play right there. Yeah, 95-85 in triple overtime was the final. Virginia to win by 10 in overtime, by the way, is crazy. It was just a
Yeah,
lot of fouls and uh, Virginia trying to stay alive down the stretch. But yeah, huge win for Virginia Tech, and they're another team. Like we said, like they haven't had a lot go right um, the last few years, but they they should be a good bet to go to the NCAA tournament this year. Like the way they're looking at
I know.
12-2 now,
Mhm.
or
Mention
I don't know
mention
if they
Virginia. Well, who was the point guard for Virginia Tech? I forget his name. He went off in that triple overtime game. It was, who was it? He had a bunch of points. Trying to pull up the score.
you're talking about Nicholas. Uh, I don't know how to say his name.
Ben Hammond.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's Ben Hammond. He had 30 points in that triple overtime win over Virginia.
Yeah. Nicholas, however you say his name,
Yeah.
I mean, he's another one like underrated character in this amazing freshman class we have this year. And he was big in this one too. But yeah, like I mean, not I guess like not like a huge game in the grand scheme of things, but like one of the games of the year certainly there. Um yeah,
Then
no, like I
on
said,
and then on a Saturday, Virginia Tech was in another close one with Wake Forest, and it came down to Wake Forest hit a buzzer beater pretty much, or game winning shot within the final 5 seconds. So they were on the opposing side of a close game on Saturday.
yeah, I mean that's a big letdown spot there.
Yeah.
When you come off that win against Virginia, um, but yeah, no, awesome for Virginia Tech and Virginia's good. I mean, like they look good. Like still, like you take a loss here, but like no shame in that. Like road loss versus your rival to start conference play, year one of Ryan Odom.
Hmm.
So they're in good shape too. So that was a crazy one. Had to mention that. Um, I mean, yeah, like really, like it was a low scoring game until obviously like triple overtime, and neither team even breaks 100. Um, Shows kind of what it was. Like it was a defensive battle. Like neither team was knocking down shots. Like they both shot it poorly in that game, but it was a grind. That was a fun game to tune into though. Um, and then I guess next game to talk about before we start going through Saturday was we'll talk about Friday. Louisville's loss at Stanford on the road. Um, was kind of surprised how this one turned out because Louisville went and played Cal earlier this week and got, like dominated against Cal, like no issues there. And then they go to Stanford on Friday night, and Stanford was able to take them down, pull off an upset there. Um, we'll get that pulled up here. But were you able to tune into any of that
Yeah,
one?
I kind of was. I had that on the the YouTube TV multi view. I was watching the end of that one, and they just like Stanford pulled it out like it was a down to the wire finish, just like Michigan State and uh, Nebraska was.
Becca Corey for Stanford had 28 in this
Mhm.
one. Um, but yeah, they did a good job neutralizing Louisville's backcourt. Like we've seen Louisville like really run it up on these teams this year, and Uh, let's see, Conwell had 18, McNeely had 17, but yeah, Michael Brown was out in this game too.
Yeah,
So like not a full strength Louisville, but nevertheless like great win for Stan, especially like um um Stan, who'd Stanford play earlier in the week?
I'm not sure. I forget who they played. Who did they play?
Um, nevertheless, yeah, like um, been a good year for Stanford so far. Like they sit at 12-3 now. Probably probably not going to get too many of these wins, but like we know it's tricky with the conference realignment and everything when you get these midweek West Coast road trips. But what more threw me off, like I said, in the result in this one was how good Louisville, like the first part of that road trip is usually the tough one, and like they went out against Cal and took care of business and dominated. So you didn't think this was one that was going to trip them up and they were going to have any problems, but they did, and Stanford gets a big win. Uh, so yeah, you got anything else on that one?
Not really. I was going to say Mikel Brown. Louisville's feeling the loss of Mikel Brown right now, so they need
Yeah,
to get him back so they don't drop too far in the ACC standings. Because like they have a good team still, but just losing a guard of that caliber is really hurting them right now. Even with the portal additions they made, um, they just don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with certain other teams. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they should be fine though, because like they're gonna get him back, and like obviously, like they're a great team. Like that, like I'm not super concerned about them. Like I guess if you have one question mark for them, it's like defensively with them more than anything, because like they can run it up on anybody, but like there are questions to answer for them on the defensive side of the ball, but um they'll be fine. Like yeah, like not concerned about Louisville in the long run here or anything, but definitely a head scratching result there. And then we talked about Virginia already with their game against NC State, and then they were the first game of the day yesterday with that 11 a.m. Eastern tip, and they took on NC State yesterday and were able to get a dominant win in Raleigh. Year one under Will Wade not going the way anybody drew it up. One thing I had to mention to talk about was the Will Wade comments about Darian Williams earlier in the week, where he went off
Yeah.
about defending Darian Williams, and it's like while I mean it's Will Wade, like it's not surprising, but like him being like, I'm tired of answering questions about this kid. It's like, well, like you gave this kid $2.5 million or whatever they're paying him to come play basketball for you. So yeah, if he's not living up to it, you gotta answer it. Not like obviously like Darian Williams was one of the most coveted players in the portal after last season and what he was able to do at Texas Tech, and like he's been struggling at NC State, and like they're not putting it together, and like for them to just get dominated at home, it's going to be rough. Like I like they don't seem like a team that's like you know push a couple buttons and they're close to a turnaround. Like they're just bad right now, and like uh, they're like they don't have a what was it? I saw a stat like I don't think they have a win against like a top 100 team in Ken Palm. Like they've it's been bad for the Wolfpack and for Will Wade in year one. It's not gone the way anybody could have anticipated it going. Um, but yeah, good win for Virginia. Like we said, bounce back from the Virginia Tech loss. You got anything on that one?
I was gonna say, yeah, just domination by Virginia. NC State, they just didn't play up to their potential. Darian Williams didn't have a great game. Once again, I think he needs to step it up if he's worth that NIL money. It's kind of showing its head once again. The theme of if you pay someone that much money, you better be getting the results. It's if you expect him to be a star player, you can't. He's going to have criticism. And Will Wade, I know he's just defending his players, but like at some point, if you're an NC State fan, like you're got to be where is his play from Texas Tech at?
Yeah, and it's like
But yeah.
he didn't have to be like the guy on that Texas Tech team. Like obviously like
Mhm.
they had JT Top in there and like he had an awesome tournament run, but like he definitely had to level up this year and like to this point like hasn't been able to do that. And it's been a struggle for him. It's been a struggle for Will Wade to get things going there. Obviously they don't have Aura anymore. That might be a big problem there for them. And yeah, like it just hasn't gone well for Will Wade and for Darian Williams, and hasn't lived up to expectations at all in year one for them. So, battle of two first year ACC coaches, and obviously Ryan Odom gets the better of him in that one. But yeah, NC State might be in trouble here.
Mhm.
Um, and then all right, next one I have to talk about. We'll talk about a couple of the upsets of the day yesterday, but the first one of those I wanted to bring up was UCF taking down Kansas in the bounce house in Orlando. They went down there with Darren Peterson, hopefully healthy now and not an issue anymore. But Darren Peterson was awesome in this game. He had 26. Melvin Council had 20. Um, but the Knights were able to get the upset here. I wasn't able to tune into this one, so I don't like a lot of these games because I was at a game yesterday, so like I didn't get to tune into a lot of these, so like I can't add a lot of what went wrong to it, but yeah, obviously like huge for them to get Darren Peterson back, and everybody as college basketball fans is hoping the injury issues are behind Darren Peterson now, and that we're just talking about Darian Williams. Now we're talking about Darren Peterson, and it's hard. Like I'm trying to make sure I don't slip up and say Darian Peterson, so I keep struggling saying his name. But yeah, nevertheless, great for them to get him back. But UCF gets a huge win in the bounce house against Kansas. So you got anything on that one?
Uh, I didn't get to watch much of this game either. I was at the ETSU game yesterday, but uh, anyway, UCF gets an upset over Kansas. I think it's been a recurring theme for them to get an upset over Kansas.
I
They've
think
had
that's
a
the
thing
third
against
straight
Kansas
year
the
they've
past,
beaten them.
yeah, the last 3 or 4 years. But ever since they joined the Big 12, I think the most interesting note, I did see the one UCF player, John Bull, his strange free throw form, where you like just like one arm chuck the basketball at the rim.
I,
I, I
I
wish I
gotta
could
look
pull
that
that up
up.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah, was it successful?
no, it was not.
Shocker.
It might have been one of the weirdest free throw forms I've ever seen.
We'll have to look that up. Um, yeah, I guess you're not on your computer right now, so you
No,
can't pull that up. But but yeah, UCF gets the win there. Um, and yeah, I think Kansas is going to be fine though. I'm not like as long as if they have Darren Peterson healthy, like they're going to be in good shape. Obviously, like going into the fall, it's still going to be a nightmare for anybody they play. And like we mentioned, like it's a game that's tripped them up the last few years now. Um, Going down there to Orlando and taking on UCF, but yeah, that was probably the biggest upset of the day yesterday. There was
it.
um, there was another one that I'll have to bring up next, the SMU North Carolina
Oh
game.
yeah, that was a throttling by SMU of UNC.
Yeah, definitely the two biggest upsets of yesterday, in the first Saturday of conference play. But yeah, we can talk about that one next. And obviously, like huge win for SMU. Like they bought their way into a power conference, and um, they're doing power conference stuff now. And the Tar Heels came out there, and yeah, they got it going pretty good there. Like they're 12-3 or 12-2 now. Um, I know one of their losses was to Vanderbilt, who's obviously one of the unbeatens we've mentioned in the SEC ACC challenge. And other than that, like it's gone great for them so far. And like we knew, like this is kind of what tripped them up last year. Is they had a great record last year, but they didn't have any good wins to stand on. Like they didn't have a single quad one win last year, and like they were hanging around the bubble, but like you're probably not going to get that nod when you don't have a single quad one win to hang your hat on. And now, one game into conference play, they get one here against North Carolina. So that was a huge win for SMU. That's a statement win, and yeah, they're it's going great for them. Um,
I feel like that game kind of established them as a potential contender in the ACC. Just pantsing UNC like that. Like I asked one of my UNC friends like what happened, and he was not happy at all. He was like, I don't know about Kermit or Dave, freaking Davis, whatever his first name is.
huh? What are you talking about?
The head coach, Davis,
Hubert.
Hubert Davis.
Kermit
Yeah,
Davis is the
I blanked
former
on
Ole
his
Miss
name.
coach.
Yeah, I was thinking about Kermit
It's late.
Davis.
You tripped me up for a second. I was
Yeah,
like, wait, what's Kermit Davis got to do with this?
yeah. I made the same mistake when looking at him. I don't know why I'm thinking about him, but yeah, he wasn't too happy about that loss, and I don't blame him. That was not a good performance for how UNC's played so far this year.
And shout out to one of our first team all name contenders in college basketball. He's cooking, and he had 27 yesterday. Old Boopy Miller, like
Boopy Miller from
yeah,
Wake Forest transfer.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, he's definitely first team all name uh college basketball guy this year. And yeah, he Boopy's been getting it done for SMU, and he had 27 yesterday, and they take down the Tar Heels. Caleb Wilson had 13 in this game. Like they did a pretty good job neutralizing him, but it was just a barrage. Like um, SMU's one of those teams. Like they play fast and they'll run and gun and shooting on you, and the shots were falling. And yeah, great for them. So that was a big one for them. I mean, they shot 60% from the field, so like you tip your hat there. They did a great job. They were making everything, and they now, one game into conference play, have one more quad one win than they had all of last year. You got anything else on that one?
I, I think we've covered it pretty good. I didn't get to watch much of that one either. It was
Gotcha.
on at the same time as the uh, uh, Kansas UCF game.
Yeah, we were both at games and busy yesterday, so this would have
Yeah,
been a great night to have Matt.
yeah.
If he showed up for work tonight, he could have picked us up on some of these games that we weren't able to tune into because we had busy days yesterday. But next one I have to talk about is Kentucky Bama, and this was dominance by Bama here. Kentucky did get Quaintance back in this game. So he only played 24 minutes though, and only took 4 shots. So like they got their full complement of guys back. I don't necessarily think they have their full complement of healthy guys back, but yeah, Bama got it done here. Owe had a great game. He had 22 in this one, and Jalen Lowe is back healthy now, and he had 21, but wasn't enough for Kentucky. Sadly, it was a barrage from Aiden Holloway that got the job done for Alabama yesterday. He had 26. So, and then I didn't look too much into it, but did Nate Oates have comments about Mark Pope after the game? Or I saw a story about that.
I think I don't know, to be
Here,
honest.
you talk about the game, and I'll look that up while you're talking about it.
I know this game. It's just a sign of things. It's a continuation of uh, Kentucky season. They've not looked like a well constructed roster. I know they've had the health issues, but even now that they're getting people back, um, going into a game against a team like Alabama, that is all fire for power, very similar to what Kentucky's optimal style would be. Um, it's Alabama just outclassed them yesterday. They got all the shots they wanted. I watched a little bit of this game. I wasn't focused in on it because it wasn't as close. It wasn't really close the whole way. Alabama just took them to school, and Kentucky has to be wondering where did their 22 million that was spent on this roster go?
Yeah, and it's
Like,
like they had Quayton's back, they had Lowe back. Like it's like if it's gonna get going now, like it's time to get it going, and it's I don't know, like it's not looking good for Kentucky. Like they're 9-5 now, and uh yeah, they've just this is just another one. Like they just got run. They like and obviously Pope has Nate Oates' number. I just saw a stat. Like as I didn't see the comments, so I'll have to look more into that and see. I think Matt said something about it and what he was referring to with that. But uh Nate Oates teams have outscored Mark Pope's teams 384 to 324 in the Mark Pope era at Kentucky. So obviously Oates has his number there. And yeah, Alabama gets it done. Continues to look bleak for Kentucky, but I don't know. I'm still not writing Kentucky off, like because they're just getting their full complement of guys back. We have like Quayton's played in this game, but he didn't do much. Like we haven't gotten to see what he's fully capable of yet. So like I'm not writing Kentucky off by any means after this one, but yeah, it's a tough loss there, and Alabama gets it done, defends home court. Um, yeah, but it's gonna continue to get loud there for Mark Pope if they don't really start to pick it up. So yeah, you got anything else on just the state of Kentucky as a whole? Because like you said, it's 22 million on the roster. Like it's about time you start getting it going.
they need to start putting some wins together. Otherwise, they're going to be on the bubble. Like, there's no ifs or buts about it. Like, right now, they have 5 losses. Is it 5 losses? I think they
Yeah, they're 9-5.
yeah, 9-5.
Kind of reminds me a lot of where Arkansas was last year. Some irony in that, and it's like um yeah, it's like this is if you're Mark Pope, like this is what you get paid a lot of money to do, and this is like this is where we're gonna see what Mark Pope's made of, because like the bloom is off the rose with the Kentucky fan base and Pope at this point. Like they're ready to start seeing some results, and uh they got the players to do it. They're healthy now, or as healthy as they're gonna be. Like I know, like Jalen Lowe still isn't fully healthy, and like isn't practicing fully every week, and like we saw him get knocked out in the St. John's game, where like basically any contact can take him out of the game with what he's going through. But like the way they're talking about it, it's like that's just going to be a nagging issue with him all year, and it's unfortunate, but they're as healthy as they're going to be, and uh, Quaintance is back now, and I'm sure they'll get him. Like he came off the bench and only played 24 minutes yesterday, but I'm sure he's going to be ramping up and really in the fold here. But like you said, they need to start putting some wins together. And like if you're Mark Pope and you have this expensive roster, and then this is where you start. This is where you got to put it together, or it's going to get really ugly there in Lexington pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing you can take away from this one. Just Kentucky's at this point in the Kentucky season, they got to learn to put their defense together. They have the offense. I mean, that's Mark Pope's style, but they've got their defense has got to elevate down the stretch in conference play.
Um, Before we keep going on games, by the way, and well, I guess we can kind of like work this into a game to talk. Oh, I just crossed that. I just X that out. Um, but we got to talk about the James Nnaji situation. Thank you. We
Oh
got to talk
yeah,
about the James Nnaji situation, and I'll get this. I gotta like. I'll first off, I'll pull up the statement from Blake Baker, which like pretty much every NCAA employee is out of the office um during Christmas week. So for them to put out a statement about it was thank you. Uh During the week was crazy. But so yeah, but we've been off so long we haven't gotten a chance to talk about this yet. Um Here, go ahead and talk about this. I'm looking for the
I,
statement.
when I saw this, I was like, "What? What are we doing?" James Nnaji has been drafted into the NBA, and this isn't a situation where they say technically he played in G League games, but he never signed a contract with the team that drafted him. So I think it was the Knicks, but I forget. But he he can now sign. Apparently, there's a rules, a loophole where he can sign with the team, and Baylor signed him to a, you know, signed him to play for their team. We've kind of been seeing this, see rumors of like G League players coming into the NCAA. And then you've had, of course, had the overseas contract. A lot of people from overseas coming to sign to play in the NCAA. But it's not now sort of gone into the state where players that have been drafted and there's even been rumors of people that have played in NBA games trying to sign. Thankfully, the NCAA came out and said, no, we're not doing that. But uh, with James Nnaji getting
Yeah,
in, we are.
I got the Charlie Baker statement pulled up so I can read it real quick.
Mhm.
But Charlie Baker put out the statement last week because obviously, so James Nnaji was an NBA draft pick and played professional basketball overseas, but never signed an NBA contract, and like that's why we're in this situation. He's eligible to play. Um, but like it's a real because this guy was the 31st pick in the NBA draft a few years ago, and now this guy's playing college basketball. He played for Baylor yesterday in a loss. Like just to mention the game real quick, not a huge game, but he did play yesterday. He had um he played 17 minutes yesterday, had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and also did not have a jersey with his name on it. I don't know if you uh were able to tune in at all
I
and see it, but he had a blank jersey.
I did see the clip of TCU fans booing him as he got on the court,
So
as it should be.
So Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, said the NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract. Schools are increasingly recruiting individuals with international league experience. The NCAA is exercising discretion in applying the actual and necessary expenses by law to ensure that prospective student athletes with experience in American basketball leagues are not at a disadvantage compared to their international counterparts. Rules have long permitted schools to enroll and play individuals with no prior collegiate experience mid-year, while the NCAA has this is cap. While the NCAA has prevailed on the vast majority of eligibility-related lawsuits, don't know if that's true, but okay. Recent outlier decisions in joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from recent outlier decisions and joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from have been on the books enforcing rules that have been on the books for decades without even having a trial are wildly destabilizing. I will be working with D1 leaders in these weeks ahead to protect college basketball from these misguided attempts to destroy this American institution. All right, so basically he's blaming the courts for this, and which it raises the question though, where eventually like somebody who has played in the NBA is going to sue the NCAA for college basketball eligibility, and that's where Charlie Baker says in that statement, like majority of these have gone our way, like or outlier. It doesn't feel like it's an outlier. I don't have every lawsuit off the top of my head, but I feel like every time I see NCAA in court, it's a loss for the NCAA.
Yeah,
So, nevertheless, um, like I think it's inevitable that like this is going to come up with somebody who has played in the NBA, like seeking college like eligibility to play college basketball,
I
and
know.
like
Right after the James Nnaji signing, there was a rumor. Joe Tipton posted that the one guy, I forget his name, was going to try to seek get into sign with the team. Like teams, he said that several college teams had uh, reached out about him. What I forget his name, but thankfully that was not real. I don't think they actually were serious about that.
yeah, yeah, I think I saw what you're talking about because like there was an original report that said like multiple coaches have reached out to them, and then I guess like they linked a few programs to them, and all those programs denied that. I saw what you're referring to. I can't remember
Yeah,
who it was about
if
specifically,
when I saw that article, I was ready to like rant about that. Like that just made me mad. Like
but
I think that
eventually
made
it's
a lot
like,
of.
and this is where like I'm number one. This is where college basketball, really college athletics in general, need a CBA and collective bargaining, because that's how you easily prevent stuff like this. But that's where the legal experts and Seth Davis will know a lot more than we do and be able to speak a lot more to that about like how realistic and possible that even is. But yeah, like it, because if you're one of these players and you go to court and sue the NCAA, and your defense is like, well, other like guys who have played in other professional leagues have gotten eligibility to play, so like why does playing a few NBA games on a two-way contract preclude me? And would that argument hold up in court? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so like I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if that would work in court, but I think like we both know, and like everybody who's followed college sports the last few years know it's coming because like it's like we've worked up to this where like we've taken step up, step up, step up, and we're at this level now where NBA draft pick is playing college basketball. So inevitably, the next notch above that is like guys who played in the NBA are going to be trying to play college basketball. Um, it's crazy. And I guess in coaching circles, like Scott Drew is catching some heat for this. I don't really blame Scott Drew here. Like I don't hold like I don't think Scott Drew's a bad guy in this situation at all. Like it's within the rules. Like we might not like it, we might not like the rules, but I really don't blame Scott Drew here. It's like they had no depth, and he had an opportunity to go get this guy, and he went and got him. Good on him.
I know a lot of coaches had some notable quotes about the whole situation. I know probably the most notable was John Calipari.
Yeah, Calipari, Izzo, and Hurley like all spoke out about it.
Yeah, Matt Painter did too. Like he said, Matt Painter said, I really don't know what the rules are right now.
Yeah, it's a weird rabbit hole we're in, but I mean, I'm sure now that this can of worms has been opened, like we're gonna see more of these situations arise, and so yeah, it's just gonna be a lot to follow and see how it ends up. But it's a weird time to be a fan of college sports, that's for sure. And we don't know what the rules are and who's eligible and what precludes you and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a mess. I don't know. You got anything else to add on that?
Not really.
All right, we can talk. Let's talk next about the game I went to yesterday, which I think was probably the game of the day. We had that 3 overtime San Diego State Boise
Yeah,
State game last night, so
I
maybe it
saw
was
that.
that one.
I saw that score. Like I checked scores on my phone this morning. Like I went to bed before it ended, and I just saw what the score was. I was like, "That's a wild
Uh,
one." Second 3 overtime game for San Diego State this year.
well, Auburn and Georgia played in Athens yesterday, and Georgia got a 104-100 win, and so good win for Georgia. Like not too important of a game in the grand scheme of things that like we got to go and break down, but like I don't know if you saw the play that Auburn made to send it in overtime, but just like a unicorn occurrence of like, and how many times have we seen like the situations like end of game, miss a free throw on purpose to try to get an offensive rebound and get another shot? Never works. Never works. And Georgia just had an all-time defensive lapse on that final possession of regulation, and they were lucky to get out of here. Luckily for them, like Auburn was in the situation that like we were fouling to extend the game, and Tahad Pettiford had to commit a foul to extend the game and fouled out on it. So Tahad Pettiford wasn't even available for overtime. If he was, how different this game could have been because Tahad had 25 yesterday. Like he was awesome in this game. Came off the bench. Because of some stuff that happened behind the scenes. Don't know the specifics. He was probably in Sky Bar when he wasn't supposed to be. But anyway, like I said, or unicorn occurrence. So Auburn's down for like 7 seconds left. Goes down. Keyshawn Hall shoots a three, draws a foul on the three. Three doesn't go. Auburn's down four. So Keyshawn makes the first two free throws, misses the third on purpose. Auburn gets an offensive rebound and kicks it out to Kevin Overton with like half a second left on the clock, gets the shot off, drills it overtime. And for that to happen, like I said, that never works. And like to watch that in person, like that was insane. Like, so had to shout that out.
I,
Um,
I know
I
I
know we
had
lost.
turned. I know I'd turned the game off. I was getting ready to leave my house, and I saw you texted "no way" or something like, and then sent the video. Like at first I thought it was like you'd won, but it was still in overtime when I checked the score. But what a wild
Yeah,
end of
that was the
game!
play to send it to overtime that I sent the video of.
Yeah,
But the fact that worked, man, and it's like, what a defensive lapse by Georgia. It's like, what you're down, like if you're down four, what are you even contesting that three for? Like, let him have it. You're up four. You let him shoot whatever they want. Like because the the only way it's going to work is either a foul on the three and one, or like what happened. And it's like, so what are you even contesting that three for? Um, and then yeah, for Auburn to get that offensive rebound and like you know we've had a lot of tough losses this year to some really good teams and close one yesterday. And this isn't a great Auburn team, and we lack the depth like we really need to be a great team, but I will say, man, it's a tough ass team, man. They got some guts, and this team's not going to be easy out for anybody. But yeah, that was awesome. Um, yeah, fun times. Auburn, as always, at Georgia had a great contingent of fans, and uh, really probably like a say I was like thinking like it was like 70% Georgia fans, 30% Auburn, something like that. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it was a good turnout of Auburn
hmm
fans and fun times, crazy game. Yeah, but 104-100 the final. Georgia gets the win. Um, you got anything you wanna add on that one?
yeah. Just I mean, Georgia's offense has looked great all year. Auburn just didn't have the firepower to keep up after Todd Pettiford fouled out. I watched Some of the overtime period, but I watched a lot of the second half as well. It looked like before
We were
it
up in
becomes that,
overtime. Like
yeah.
we had a chance to really, we just we were up three in overtime and had the ball. Like we had a chance to put just and had a bad offensive possession and didn't even get a shot off and turned it over. But that was the possession where it went away, and then they hit some huge threes, which they were just had to. They were making some wild threes yesterday,
Mhm.
man. Like they were making everything. That's been Georgia all year, man. Like when they get rolling, they're fast and they didn't play a great non-conference schedule, but they were able to translate it at least in one game to conference play yesterday. So we'll see if it keeps up for them. But Mike White looks like he has that team in great shape right now. Um, next, you got anything else on that one?
Not really.
All right, next game I wanted to talk about was BYU and Kansas State yesterday. This is one I thought Kansas State was going to win this game. Thought it was a trap game for BYU. The Octagon of Doom, tough place to win. No problem for AJ Dybansta, Rob Wright, and Richie Saunders and the Cougars. Yeah, just all around effort. Like Dybansta was awesome in this one. Had 24. Rob Wright had 18. Saunders didn't have his best game. He put up 13. Kay Bakeda had a double double and had 16 rebounds. PJ Haggerty was awesome in this game, had 24. Yeah, BYU able to go on the road into the Octagon of Doom, get a 10-point win. Um, so, yeah, the Cougars are rolling. And, if anybody who's not a college basketball fan, we've mentioned on here multiple times, AJ Dybansta is must watch TV. He's going to be the number one pick. I hope he's a Wizard next year.
I mean, yeah, he's the reason BYU is up there this year. Like how far they go in the tournament is going to be slowly determinant on how he plays down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like he's just a
Yeah,
superstar in the
he's
making,
been
future NBA
incredible.
superstar.
Yeah, he's been incredible, and yeah, that I mean, he's basically it's the number one pick race is also the national player of the year race right now, because I think it's I'm sure I haven't looked at the odds, and I'm sure Cam Boozer is still the favorite, but Dybansta has to be creeping in there.
He definitely has to be up there.
So yeah, big win for BYU to get that done. Then we mentioned Duke and Cam Boozer, so we'll go ahead and talk about them too. And we didn't even talk about, but yeah, they were down at halftime and had, which by the way was hilarious. Always one of my rants about college basketball is the TV windows being too short. Like they need to space out the TV windows better. Where the Duke Georgia Tech game started, and it
Mm-hmm.
was coming out of
That free
halftime
overtime.
when the Virginia Tech game ended and was supposed to be on. That's how long that one went on.
Yeah,
And I mean, obviously it's three overtimes, but they just do a terrible job with these TV windows. But yeah,
I think
they were. Go
it
ahead.
didn't help. It didn't help that it was New Year's Eve, so all the sporting events were trying to get over for one, the college football playoff, and two, the New Year's Eve
Yeah.
celebration.
But yeah, Duke had a tough battle with Florida State yesterday. It's tied at halftime, and they get a 91-87 win in Tallahassee. Um, Man, Florida State's really close to looking at this season a lot different because they're 7-8. They're not a good team, but they were really close to beating Florida earlier this year, and they
Mm-hmm.
were really close to beating Duke again here. They're a couple bounces away from having some huge wins. But we mentioned on here about Duke and not having the same guard play they had last year, and how it's really the Cam Boozer show for that team, and that wasn't the case yesterday. And the guy I said earlier this year, really needed to step up for that team, stepped up yesterday. That's Isaiah Evans. He's their point guard, and he's their outside threat that they're relying on to make a lot of these big shots. And he had 28 points yesterday and hit 6 3-pointers, and that was the difference. So Isaiah Evans is kind of stepping up and filling that number 2 role and that outside threat that they really need on this team, because like otherwise you're just going to get like teams are going to realize eventually you only have one threat. Like, we're not going to let Cam Boozer beat us, and that's what Florida State did yesterday, and that really did a good job, like, not letting Cam Boozer get easy. Like, he only attempted 9 shots yesterday, and like making Duke like kick it out and pushing him out to the perimeter. And Isaiah Evans was able to step up and be the star yesterday for him. But tough battle for the Blue Devils. But by the way, I mentioned what did I screw up? I gotta make sure I correct something. Yeah, I
Well,
mentioned Duke in the unbeatens earlier, and I
no, they
forgot
lost
about it. It
to
was the night of our
Texas.
game, that
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
Texas Tech comeback.
I turned that on
Yeah.
while I was sitting at White Castle.
Yeah, I was watching it at the hotel after that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a blur the last couple weeks, and then I realized I was like, wait, like as I was going through, I was running down the unbeatens, and I said, so there are 6. I said 6 power conference. Duke is no longer unbeaten. They lost to Texas Tech. I watched the game. I forgot about it. My bad. But yeah, that was a big win for Duke yesterday. They had to grind it out. Isaiah Evans is awesome. You got anything to add on that one?
Not really. I mean, they two games in a row. They kind of were struggling against opponents that are considered inferior, but they pulled them out somehow. I know one game we forgot to mention on Friday. Gonzaga's struggling against Seattle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they almost dropped that one.
Yeah, that was like. I mean, Seattle's a good team this year in the West Coast Conference, but for how highly ranked Gonzaga is, especially in like the metric ratings right now, like they are just struggling against teams. They also struggled against San Diego. I think earlier this past week as well.
Yeah, not the best start to conference play for the Zag. I mean, they were down 6 like late in the second half on Friday.
So they were this close to losing.
Yeah,
it went to overtime.
Glad you mentioned that one, because yeah, I definitely forgot about it. Next one up I had to run through was Tennessee and Arkansas. One of the only top 25 matchups of the day yesterday. And in my opinion, probably the 2 strongest contenders in this. I guess, I don't know. I'm still waiting. I don't know. We'll see what happens when Vanderbilt starts playing some of the better teams in the SEC. But
I know I didn't get to watch much of this, but I did hear from Tennessee fans about for some reason they don't think Nate Ament is good.
Well, he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
Like he's been one of the only freshmen that was like really hyped up in this class that hasn't, like, he hasn't been bad, but we haven't seen Nate Ament take that step and like be the star he was expected to be yet. And it was same thing in this one. He's 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 9 from the field. He was 5-11 from the charity stripe. So yeah, not his best performance. Darius Acuff, speaking of freshmen, though, the opposite. He was awesome in this game. 29 points, 9 of 16 from the field for him. So yeah, Acuff was awesome in this one. Hogs defend home court, get a win at Bud Walton against Tennessee. So like this was going on during the game I was at, so I didn't get to see a ton of this one. But yeah, well, you got anything on this one?
I think Arkansas is looking like it's going to come down to, I think, Arkansas or Vandy for SEC title right now, at least how it's looking. Well, also you got Bama in there as well. I think it's going to be one of those 3 teams. Tennessee didn't look great offensively yesterday. They looked okay, but I mean, I just don't think they have the top end talent of some other SEC teams.
I still think once
Mhm.
like if they can get Nate
Mhm.
Ament to be
Live
that
up to his
guy they need
potential.
him to be,
Yeah, getting
like,
developed.
and that's so yeah, I'm still not writing off Tennessee for that reason. Because I mean, like, they're staying competitive, and that's without like Nate Ament being like the star we expected him to be.
Yeah, I feel like Tennessee fans are throwing in the towel too early on Native man. I think he's just one of those big men guys. You have to get him fully acclimated to the college game. We'll see if he stays another year, if he goes in the draft. But he's one of those guys that once he gets to that level, I feel like he could be good in the NBA.
You're telling me Tennessee fans are being irrational? Who could have ever seen that
Yeah.
coming? Um, Couple other games to talk about yesterday, and then we can get ready to wrap this thing up because it's late. Um, we'll continue to roll through them. Though I was watching this game on our ride home from Athens yesterday, but Iowa dominated UCLA. UCLA was able to come back and make a game of it in the second half, but Iowa really like shout out to Ben McCollum, man. Like, he brought Drake to the Big Ten, and it's working. Like, he is winning in the Big Ten. Like, they look great. They took down UCLA yesterday, and they took down UCLA. And Dent got his shit in. Dent had 25, and he was awesome. And like he's struggled so far this year at UCLA, and seemed like he was having a hard time making the jump. But Dent has been or like I said, he got his shit in yesterday. Like, he was great. He had 25, but nobody else on UCLA could step up and hit anything. And Bennett Sturts was 27, 8 to 10 from the field in this game. Um, yeah, man. Like, you can't say enough about Ben McCollum in that job, man, because yeah, he brought Drake to the Big Ten, and it's working. So 74-61 the final there. The Hawkeyes get the win. Got anything on that one about
I
your
was gonna
Big
say,
Ten brethren?
I know Ben McCollum. I thought he was the best first year hire in the Big Ten, and I have been proven right so far. I think Iowa, they're going to play that same style all year. Just grind you out, slow down the pace, and then just make smart basketball plays throughout the game. So they are definitely going to be a tough out every single night this year in conference play.
Did you want to talk about Purdue yesterday?
Yeah,
Wisconsin's fucking terrible, but if you
yeah.
want to
I
talk about Purdue's win
that
yesterday,
that the first half of that game pissed me off so much because Wisconsin hit some absolute BS shots. Like, as usual, we go. Purdue always goes to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin starts hitting like insane shots that just are off bound. Like, they just throw crap up and it goes in. I don't know if you have a experience with any team like that,
oh
but
yeah.
Wisconsin's been the thorn in our side over the last 4 or 5 years. But like, what a great night for Braden Smith to break the Big Ten all-time assist record, uh, get away from Cassius Winston. Um, there was a strong contingent of Purdue fans there, sort of like your game, the Georgia Auburn game. Purdue fans, you could audibly hear them on TV chanting Braden Smith once he broke the record. Um, a great night from Fletcher Lawyer. He's had been in sort of a slump. Hasn't played the greatest last month of basketball, but last night he was making smart basketball plays the whole game. I think he might have been our leading scorer too. But yeah, it was just a dominant performance. Second half, we kind of coasted, almost let Wisconsin back into the game with some dumb fouls, but we still won by 16. But that's just typical for this Purdue team this year. Um, and yeah, you also with the Braden Smith chant, you got a Who's House. You could hear the Who's House, Our House chant on TV. So yeah, we got this next 3-game homestand, and then we got after that we got 6 of 8 on the road, so it'll be a we've got to
Yeah,
come out of this 3-0 these
that'll
next
be a
3
tough
games.
that'll be a tough stretch.
Yeah.
Um, well, the last game I had put down to really get into was Missouri and Florida,
Hmm.
and the defending national champs go down their first game in SEC play at Columbia. Dennis Gates gets a big win. Missouri, I mean Missouri. That was one of the games while we were on break. Like got throttled by Illinois. I mean, it was a full
Not
on
even, yeah.
decimation. But they're able to bounce back and start SEC play with a big win over the defending national champs. Florida takes their 5th loss of the season already. Tommy Houck had 24 for them in this one. But it was Mizzou won the day, defends home court, gets a 2-point win against the Gators. So, yeah, big win for Mizzou there.
Yeah, Florida continues to slide. Like they're just not looking like what we thought coming into the year, even with their losses. Like we figured they'd be like a top 15 team at least.
We've talked about it at nauseum at this point about Florida's guard play
Yeah,
this year. And like I didn't watch this game, but if you're wondering why Florida lost, Xavier Lee, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 11 points. Boogie Flan, 6 points, 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. There's why Florida lost right there. Like you can tell the whole story with the guard play. And that's been this team the whole year. They got too many bigs and they have no guards. And in Todd Golden's system, unfortunately, that's just not a recipe for success. Yep, we can whip around to some of these other games too before we wrap up. And if you want to jump in and note anything on any of them,
hmm
feel free. But let's see. Nova went to Butler and dominated.
yeah.
Nova wins 85-67. Providence goes to MSG and takes down St. John's. The Johnnies just got a win at Georgetown on the road earlier this week, then go back home and lose to Providence. So big win for the Friars. I think Providence has a better team than I think people might be sleeping on them this year. And I think like that kind of really, I was going to say 3rd best team in the Big East, but like, are we still just automatically considering the Johnnies the 2nd best team in the Big East? Because they don't look the part
No,
and they lost at home at MSG to Providence yesterday. So there's going to be some opportunity there for the taking in the Big East this year. And I think Providence is one of the teams that can step up and find themselves on the bubble. And that was a big road win for them to get yesterday. Like it's a big win for Providence. You mentioned Wake beating Virginia Tech 81-78. Texas Tech beat Oklahoma State 102-80. Just going through here and pick it. Oh, we didn't even mention Houston, Cincinnati.
oh yeah, I was
Um,
going to mention that one.
yeah, Houston. I mean, that was a tie game. I mean, Houston was down a lot of this game, and it was a tie game with 3 minutes left, and then Houston or 4 minutes left, the last media timeout, and Houston was able to put the clamps on and hold them scoreless the last 4 minutes and get to win by spread was 6.5, by the way. So what a finish by Houston to cover that win by 7.
I know Houston's been struggling. They were down to Cincinnati at halftime. Like this was just kind of a struggle for them. They had that game earlier this week where they struggled against Middle Tennessee State as well.
Yeah,
So they've been kind of doing that this whole season,
that
getting
one
in
snuck by
games.
a lot of people.
Yeah, getting in a lot of games with you know opponents that aren't on the same level as them. They just kind of been coasting by,
Yeah.
just letting teams hang around.
Vandy stayed unbeaten too and got a 83-71 win at South Carolina. Um, you mentioned Miami of Ohio staying unbeaten, got a win against Akron. That was at home. I said it was the road earlier.
Mhm.
Correction. Um, let's see.
There
I
was a
mentioned
crazy score later in the day. I know Charlotte came back and beat Wichita State in over. How many overtimes was that game? I think I got like I saw that was like one of the stories.
I'll let you know when I get past it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because it was on TV, so I was like watching that before the Purdue game.
Bucky McMillan got his first SEC win at
Mhm.
A&M. That was a great game with A&M and LSU. That was another one I was watching on the drive home yesterday. A&M gets a win there. Um, your Bucks got the win. Mentioned
Big
that
win,
over
big early
Mercer.
conference win.
Um, let's see. I know Colorado, Arizona State was a wild one. Colorado gets to win 95-89 there. Let's see. Mississippi State beat Texas in overtime 101-98. I'm checking that one real quick for something because I just got a feeling we're going to see. Yep, Josh Hubbard had 38 points.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't even watch that game, and I just knew Josh Hubbard probably
there
had
was
some obscene amount of points.
that was a crazy one. What was the score in that game?
101-98 in
98. Yeah,
overtime. And
overtime. Yeah, that was it.
like Josh Hubbard, 38. So Mississippi State's a fun team. Like, because Josh Hubbard is one of those guys, like, if he was on a better team, he would be one of the faces of the sport. He's awesome. Um, then yeah, we had the 3 overtime win with San Diego State over Boise. And then what was the one you were asking about?
Wichita State and Charlotte.
Gotcha. Well, I'm looking for that. Illinois went on the road and got a win over Penn State. Like we mentioned, that's always a sleepy place
Hmm.
to play, but Illinois was able to get the job done. You were asking about Charlotte, Wichita State.
While you're looking for that today, Seton Hall beat Creighton in a rock fight, and
Yeah, I was watching that one
yeah,
earlier.
Indiana beat Washington. There's
Um,
two top 25 teams, but they were both blowouts.
I'm still,
Gonzaga and UConn.
I'm
UConn
still,
blew out Marquette.
I'm looking for that Charlotte, Wichita State. There you go. Yeah, overtime, 104. Same score as the Auburn Georgia game.
Yeah.
Charlotte won 104-100 in overtime.
Hmm.
Oh, it's 2 overtimes. Okay.
2 overtimes. Yeah, I knew it was more than one.
Um, Yep. Yep. And then Indiana got a win over what? Did you mention that while you were just talking?
Yeah, Indiana
Um,
over Washington.
yeah, I was watching that one a little bit earlier. Yeah, you still feeling your Washington bowl prediction from before the year?
Mhm.
Um,
They've kind of had
we'll-
injuries and
yeah, we'll
whatnot.
see.
I think they still have talent, but I don't know.
Yeah, they
I,
played Indiana tough.
yeah.
Like they were in that game for sure. Um, but yeah, that I think it about does it. First weekend of conference play in the books. Um, so yeah, you got anything else to add?
No, just a great first weekend of 2026. A lot of great games just to start. We got some crazy weeks coming up here.
Oh yeah. We should be back Friday and hopefully at full strength if we could get Matt back on here and talk about the games from this week. But yeah, like you said, awesome first weekend of conference play and we're back in the swing here. So glad to be back on the show and be able to get one done tonight. So yeah, we're back in it. Well, yeah, that'll about wrap it up. So if you got nothing else to add, I'll go ahead and send us
Mhm.
off here. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe Sectator Media on YouTube, follow Sectator Media on Twitter, follow One Shining Recap on Twitter, like and retweet and do all that good stuff. If you're tuned in or listening to this after the fact on Spotify, you subscribe on there too. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back.